Thank you for staying on Joy News today with me, Benis Abubedu. Sunday's torrential rains caused the church building belonging to the Christ Life Ministries at Bawe at Bola Road to collapse. About 20 church members were said to have been injured, with some in critical condition at the Kolebu 37 and the Akawe hospitals. Joy News' visit to the area in the Wejak Bawe constituency Monday morning revealed dozens of broken plastic chairs and personal effects of some of the church members still under the rubble. An opinion leader, Emmanuel Asante, has been narrating how the incident happened. Mr. Asante says the residents are dangerously living on the stretch of land which used to be a landfill site.
Effects belonging to members of the Christ Life Ministries. I'm still trapped under the rubble. I have an opinion leader here with me. His name is Emmanuel Solomon Asante. He's going to tell us, Emmanuel Asante, he's going to tell us exactly what happened on Sunday.
Sunday, around 11:30, I was at the church when my wife called me and informed me about it. One of the buildings at Makanti was collapsed. So immediately I go to I just rushed there and come to the screen. I can see a lot of people there. And a lot of people they are rushing to the hospital. Some at Kolebu, Akawe, and 37. The day goes back ahead, and this will happen.
Now, tell me, you said when you came here, there was a particular man who was trapped under the rubble and you had to drag her on the floor. Tell me about the condition.
Serious, critical condition. It's cold. People are in very critical condition. When I heard that the pastor is in critical condition.
Now, you are complaining about how residents are putting up structures on this place that used to be a landfill site. You want to throw more light?
Yeah, that's why.
What was this state before, the construction of this, some of them very posh?
This one, unless I ask the engineers at the assembly, the engineer, so everything concerned about this building, we have to consult the engineers people to give me more about it. I can't tell.
Yeah, but
I know it's a quarry place. So this, my concern sometimes you have to come in and advise them. See the way they are building as opinion leader. I don't know. I can't tell why. Living said I can't tell why, and I don't understand why some people allow them building on colors prison. They are not giving any building permits.
So you're saying it used to be a quarry site, and then so what did they use and fill in this place?
They use really
refuse. Now people are putting on their structures.
Yeah, structures. Very, when you go up there, you can see some story buildings. A lot of buildings. I mean, a lot of secondary at the top. A lot of very big buildings are there.
Okay.
So that's why. I mean, it's very amazing. And I don't know when there are some people, the MC, and then they sit down, they don't go outside and check where the people are building, and when things happen, they just come out from the office and come and inspect it. Okay. I mean, that's wrong.
Thank you very much. Emmanuel Asante, he's an opinion leader here in this community, but I also have with me here the assemblyman for the area.
Honorable Clement J.
Okay, Honorable Clement J. Yes. Okay. You are the assemblyman for this place. Yes. You just heard the opinion leader say that this place used to be a landfill site. Yes. People are putting up, plastic benches, some of them, very beautiful houses. That the danger of putting up used to be a landfill site. What have you done to stop this?
Yeah, I've made a formal complaint to the assembly because the rate at which they are putting up structures in this place is appalling and absolutely unacceptable. And I made a formal complaint to the assembly to come and see the nature of the place. And I think all fell on deaf ears. And by the grace of God, we have passed a new municipal executive and the engineers, and we are here right now to ascertain inspect the situation and find out how we can, the best way to solve this problem. It is appalling. It is unacceptable.
So have you said notice the people, putting on the status? Have you informed them?
The location is at
make us see there are some chiefs and people behind it. So when you complain, they just don't bother you as an assembly member because they know the voice behind
the Church of
But I think it depends on what is not good. Something can condemn in a very strongest sense. I'm happy that the media has come to witness this situation. To go along with when you say something about it, because it is not for nothing that the media is referred to as the fourth estate of the realm. As far as you are here, you report it and the appropriate measures.
Good morning. So, who are those selling?
I think the chiefs. The chiefs, they are the custodians of the land. They can sell. Without them, nobody will sell. As far as the chiefs also are around, I think when you go for them and they can, they also can sell you better than what I'm telling you. I couldn't get them involved, but when I meet them one after the other, sometimes I tell them that what is going on. We call this place McCarthy electoral area, and it is more than a slum, and it's very unfortunate, and something needs to be done about it.
So this definitely is going to be a wake-up call.
Definitely.
And so what is
My colleague Mark Solak-Baba speaking to some government officials and an opinion leader at the site of that collapsed church building in Gbawe here in Accra. Away from that, the NPP Northern Regional Chairman Daniel Bugri Nabu is expected to address a press conference today following last Saturday's incident in which he was reported to have disrupted a meeting between the Gender Minister Otiko Jaba and some women in Tamale. Mr. Bugri Nabu, who is currently attending the Sanerugu District Assembly endorsement of the President's nominee for the District Chief Executive position of the area, is scheduled to meet the press soon after the Assembly endorsement is over. So how far with the endorsement process and that particular press conference? My colleague Martina Bugri is following up on these stories for us. Hello, Martina. Hello, Martina. Good afternoon. What's the progress with the endorsement of the Sanerugu DCE nominee? Hello, Martina. Can you hear me? Well, we seem to be having some challenge there with my colleague Martina Bugri. Meanwhile, we'll bring you some stories shortly, and we'll be getting some updates from her on how far Assembly members have gone in the endorsement process of the Sanerugu nominee, district nominee of the DCE position. Now, what is the worst that can happen after you lose a family member? For the Oketri family in Accra, their nightmare is just beginning. The family was greeted with shock when at the time of collecting the body of their loved one at the Ridge Hospital, they were told it is missing. After several attempts, it was finally revealed that another family has wrongfully buried 52-year-old Michael Oketri and left behind their 72-year-old corpse. Martha Krensalakwa has the rest of the story.
I am currently at the residence of 52-year-old Michael Kwapna Ajite Oketri, and his funeral is supposed to be held from today over the weekend, so he will be buried and the family can wrap up everything, final funeral rites, before the ban on drumming and noise making. But unfortunately, the situation has changed. I have been into the house and there is decoration and everything in place where the body will be laid in state is also ready, but there is no funeral today. And the reason is simple. It is because there is a mix-up at the mortuary and another family has buried this very man. So all you can see at the family house here at Atiko, it's pockets of conversation going on amongst friends, church members and family members wondering what is going to happen. Another batch of the family members are at the Adabraka police station trying to get clearance so they can exhume the body and perhaps have the funeral before the ban on drumming and noise making. I have been told reliably that all the preparations that have been made already has gone wasted. The family says it's a difficult moment for them. As we speak, you have the wife and children locked up in the room. They need prayers. They are being prayed for. They are being spoken to so that they will strengthen themselves and keep up until they finally get the clearance to exhume the body. But as it stands, the family earlier told us they want the body today.
Easter Sunday no. It's yes and ne and the by say no by no if you know honum. But much remain no person on the tomb.
Your call, no, checks, no, so no more year phone, Jamo, that was last week. I'm on Kofona could see a phone. It is a call, a Sanka, you could two phone. Now I could see no. So police in 17 to know, I'm say, and you just say, oh, yeah, the cocotte Monday.
Well, the family of Mr. Okechre have told us that they actually had the funeral ceremony over the weekend, and they say that they will be heading to the court next week, Monday, to seek permission to exhume the body that was buried by another family to hold the proper funeral rites for their departed family member. You're watching Joy News today with me, Bernice Abubedu. Still to come, and many residents of Abene in the Kwewu East District of the Eastern region have fled the town following chieftaincy clashes. We'll bring you more after this. Thank you for staying here on Joy News today with me, Bernice Abubedu. Now, many residents of Abene in the Kwewu East District of the Eastern region have fled the town following chieftaincy clashes that have rendered many injured and several properties destroyed. The incident, which took place last week, was triggered by the rejection of the newly installed chief of Kwewu Abene, Dasibre Mampong Ejay, known in private life as Professor Ajiman Bedu Akosa, an astute Ghanaian politician and a pathologist. The installation of Professor Bedu Akosa, a former Director General of the Ghana Health Service, makes him the automatic Kwewumanhene in 40 days' time after the demise of Dasibre Ekuamwa Boateng III, the late paramount chief of the Kwewu traditional area. The chief of Abetifi, who doubles as the acting Kwewumanhene, Nana Echiamfor Esiedu Ajiman, told journalists some kingmakers allegedly breached the process in making Nana Mampong Ejay the chief. Kofi Siawen is Joy News reporter on the ground and joins us on the phone lines with more. Hello, Kofi.
Hello.
Briefly tell us how all of this started.
Well, this incident happened over the weekend and it's still a running issue. Professor Ajiman Bedu Akosa of the CPP, we all know him as a politician, but according to some of the kingmakers in Kwewu Abene, he also qualifies to be the chief of Kwewu Abene, even though some of them who oppose his installation say that he's not from the area. But a ceremony was done over the weekend to install him as the chief of Kwewu Abene in the Eastern region. So by extension, if you are the chief of Kwewu Abene, you qualify to be, or you are the automatic candidate to be the chief or the paramount chief of the Kwewu traditional area. So in reference, Professor Ajiman Bedu Akosa in 40 days' time should be made the paramount chief or the Omahine of the Kwewu traditional area. But his installation over the weekend has been greeted with some displeasure or discontent from some of the chiefs from the area, especially the Abetifihine, who also doubles as the acting Kwewu Mahine. He says that the processes that was used in electing and installing Professor Ajiman Bedu Akosa, who is known in whose true name is known as Nana Mampong Ejei II. It wasn't the right process they used. According to him, Professor Agyemang Badu Akosa, apart from the kingmakers, the supposed kingmakers breaching the laid down rules, the man does not also hail from that place. They claim that he hails from Asante Mampong in the Ashanti region, so his installation cannot be accepted. That is a claim by the acting Kwawu Mahine, who is also the Abetifi of Kwawu.
So, Kofi, what do they want now, those who are opposing his kingship or
well, according to them, they are not going to accept him. So they also expressed their rejection through the firing of arms. The people supposed to be hired by the Abetifi stormed homes of some residents and they drove them away. Some houses have been pulled down, a whole lot of things happening. And some of the residents who spoke to me say that they are unable to live in the town. They have fled to nearby places and that they want the security to act on it before they can return to their town.
All right, so from what I get from your reports is that we still don't have security presence in the area.
Well, there are policemen all over there, but when you speak to the residents, some of them who fear for their lives, they say that whenever they go to the police says they cannot, they are helpless, and that they should find their own means of providing security. So even though they are there, the residents fear that their presence there cannot guarantee them enough security.
All right, but has Professor Badu Akosa been speaking? He's at the center of this controversy. Has he been speaking?
Well, he hasn't spoken yet. When he was installed, he returned to Accra over the weekend. Currently, as I speak, he's not in Kwawu.
All right, thank you very much. Kofi Siang is my colleague coming to us from the Eastern region. Now, 4 Chinese miners who were arrested at Amansia Central District of the Ashanti region for violating government's ban on illegal mining are being processed by security agencies here in Accra for further action. The 4 who were arrested during a special operation by the Ghana Immigration Service were taken to Kumasi with reports of telephone calls for their release at the behest of a Galamsey business owner, Asia Huang. My colleague Erastus Asare Donko was with the task force and has sent through this report.
Even in the face of a ban on small-scale mining across the country, these Chinese nationals threw caution to the wind and were arrested at a mining site at Bipotintin in the Amansia Central District of Ashanti. Even before they could be processed by immigration officials, our news team learnt their colleagues were back at the same site working. We were briefed that in order to catch them in the act, we needed to park our branded vehicle, go through Dunkwao, Ayamfree to Dominase and cross the river Ofin before we could go on motorbikes to the site. We arrived at this site belonging to this Chinese lady, Miss An Huang, also known as Aisha. Even after our surprise snoop in on them, we had information in the night they were still working at the same site.
Vacated this place, but then she is in here mining on the blind side of government with such impunity. And I understand she has mined and stolen many concessions in this area belonging to other mineral resources companies. And she does so without impunity because she has the strong backing of strong political forces. This is the same place that 4 Chinese nationals were arrested yesterday by the immigration services.
Aja hamuse omonja jumane ye. Site lo mu busu ya ndina yeso. Sika.
Ti mone China for na ye juma.
Ndabe. Omo fire workers ene ye.
Na die nti na mo ya mo hu se nipa ba na mo dwane.
Omo na ka se so mo ba ye njone China for na ka sa.
Eti ha e hwan dia, site we hwan dia.
Aisha.
Pacho Manti.
Aisha.
Aisha dia Chinese woman.
Yeah.
On that site we any dia.
Nidia.
Well, so she's telling me that they are working in collaboration with their Chinese counterparts. They've been told to run away when officials are coming in here. I've been asking him who this site belongs to, and he says Aisha, the Chinese woman we are talking about. She has strong back in the previous government, the NDC government, and per our sources, she pays highly to security couples, the police, the military, the immigration services, the Minerals Commission. They all take their cut, according to our sources on the ground, and so they ensure and serve as tip-offs or sources for them. So on the road, we had to disguise ourselves, pass through a long terrain to come in here, dress as galamseyers. Other than that, before we come here, they would have been gone, vanished into thin air. So you find the site empty and you think they are not mining, but indeed they are in here mining. So when our news team got here, we saw them running towards this side. And we are told this is the modus operandi of the Chinese people. So when the security agencies come through the normal way, one, they have members of the police force itself who have been stationed at certain vantage points, the barriers. And so any official vehicle of the security agencies that pass by, information is leaked onto several people lined up along the road as we came in, and they forward this to the team over here. And so before you come, you find nothing, just machines that are not working, which gives you the impression that this place has been dormant for a while. Now we saw them run towards this end, and as you can see, these pipes lead to another site where they are operating. And so we try to chase them, but it's a dead end because they know their way here very much. These are Chinese nationals who have stayed in the bush for a long time and are able to navigate their way through this end to another site, bought some motorbikes and off. So it's difficult getting them on this land. So if the authorities are serious about curbing galamsey, this is what they have to deal with. The difficulty is there to see. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaridonko, Bepotinting, Ashanti region.
Well, we hear that the woman at the center of this issue, Aisha Huang, has turned herself in to immigration officials, and they are bringing her here in Accra. We are also reliably informed by the PRO of the Ghana Immigration Service that they're sending a report in to the Minister in charge of Lands and Natural Resources, John Peter May. We'll bring you updates as and when they are available. Away from that, the St. Joseph Hospital in Jirapa in the Upper West region will from next week revert to cash and carry if claims owed them by the National Health Insurance Authority are not paid. As of the end of December 2016, the NHIA owed the facility 11 months in claims. Medical Superintendent of the St. Joseph's Hospital, Dr. Richard Wooda-Seme, said promises made to pay the amount at the end of April have yielded no result. Due to the lack of drugs at the hospital's pharmacy, patients at the wards now go out of the hospital to buy drugs. He gave the startling revelation at the International Day of the Sick, organized by the hospital at Jirapa.
The Jireba St. Joseph's Hospital is a 193-bed facility and serves a projected population of about 99,565. Due to its strategic location, it is the preferred choice for clients in the region and beyond. Patients' attendance has seen a sustained and increased attendance over the last decade. The hospital has expanded its services to include the provision of neonatal intensive care as well as breast and cervical cancer screening units. Medical Superintendent of the hospital, Dr. Richard Wudaseme, speaking at the International Day of the Sick, expressed concern over the inability of the National Health Insurance Authority to reimburse the hospital of claims owed the facility for the past 12 months. 96% of attendants to the hospital are bearers of NHIS cards. Dr. Wudaseme warned that the hospital is at its wit's end and will be forced to go back to the cash and carry system beginning next week if the claims owed them are not paid.
As at May 2017, we have only been reimbursed for the months of January, March, and April of 2016, with the rest of the months all outstanding. We had assurances that by the end of April 2017, a significant reimbursement would have been done. But I'm very sad to report to all of you that as we speak, there still has been no show. We are therefore serving notices to our cherished clients to prepare themselves for the return of cash and carry next week. We have been forced to take this painful decision due to the seemingly inertia on the part of the relevant authorities. As I speak to you, patients on admission have had to go out to procure their own drugs. Surgeries have been cancelled because we are unable to procure basic consumables. Nosocomial infections are on the ascendancy because we cannot provide cleaning agents and even gloves for our orderlies to keep our facilities clean.
Another key challenge faced by the hospital is the littering around the wards and open spaces by relatives of their clients, despite the provision of a toilet facility for them.
Some clients' relatives still take delight in open defecation. They litter around the walls and all available open spaces. I have therefore instructed the security apparatus to apply minimum force on anyone caught in this very shameful and primitive act.
The International Day of the Sick was started by Pope John Paul II as a way for believers to offer prayers for those suffering from illness. People around the world take the time to pray for the sick and for those who work very hard to alleviate the sufferings of the sick on this day. Bishop of the Wa Diocese, His Lordship Richard Kuhn Yewop, led the church to pray for the sick and the workers of the hospital. The occasion was also used to inaugurate the boards of the hospital and the nursing training institutes established by the Catholic Church. Prizes were also awarded to hard-working staff of the hospital. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Jireba.
Now let's head to the northern region, where the MPP Northern Regional Chairman Daniel Bugri-Nabur is expected to address a press conference today following last Saturday's incident in which he's reported to have disrupted a meeting between the Gender Minister Otiko Jaba and some women in Tamale. Mr. Bugri-Nabur, who is currently attending the Sanarugu District Assembly endorsement of the President's nominee for the District Chief Executive position, is scheduled to meet the press soon after the Assembly endorsement is over. So how far with that process? Let's speak to Joy News' Martina Bugri, who's following up on the story. Hi, Martina.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Martina. What's the progress on the endorsement of the DCE?
The endorsement is over. The Madame Mariam Idrisu called 33, which is total votes cast. She took everything, representing 100% call. And so she's the new DCE for the Sanarugu District Assembly. She thanked the President for the honor done her and promised to operate an open door policy. The minister entreated her to be a mother to everybody in the district and not just the family that endorsed her or gave her the position, that is the NPP.
All right, Martina, but what can you report on Mr. Bugri Nabu's press conference he said to have scheduled for after this particular event?
I'm told that all is said. I had a chit-chat with him briefly before he entered, and he says that it's going to be a garment revelation of the person of the gender minister, Diko Jaba, and her family. And he says that he never attacked Madame Otiko Jaba's person when he went to Modern City on Friday. But the woman decided to attack his person. And so once she's drawn the battle line, he's ready for the battle and will go down with her.
Did he give you a hint of this particular expose, what it exactly entails?
He says it entails details about her family life and her person, and he wouldn't go further. But he says that it's them.
Okay, and apart from exposing or giving the media this expose he talks about, what else would he be addressing at this particular press conference?
He said there was a mass representation of what he said. He said he had gone there on his own. The other group of women also went there on their own, but the media said he led the team to go and disrupt the program, which was not true. And so he will be putting the record straight. That's what he said.
All right, Martina, thank you so much. We'll be touching base with you for those updates and to get details of what that expose is. It's now time for business. Emmanuel Abuajiriafe has joined me in studio, and he'll bring you the business news right after this.
Hello, good afternoon. Pleasure to come your way again with business. Now, World Bank Country Director Henry Kerali has confirmed the IMF is in discussion with Ghana over the extension of the fund program. This also confirms earlier reports by Joy Business that the government is likely to extend the program, which should have ended in April 2018. It is, however, not clear for now whether the program will be extended to December next year or 2019. The move, Joy Business understands, has been influenced by the IMF's concerns that Ghana may not be able to implement critical reforms before the original completion date of April 2018. The World Bank Country Director tells Joy Business they are waiting for final agreement between the two parties.
From our perspective, we always look for a sustainable program. And my understanding is that that is indeed the objective for both the government and the IMF, to come to an agreement on a sustainable fiscal framework that can boost growth, that can help Ghana to come out of the current debt levels, and can also help Ghana to fight poverty as it stands. So we are very much in support of an agreement that will be sustainable in the medium term for Ghana, not just for the IMF or the World Bank.
And this agreement is looking at the fact that didn't stay in, because I remember when there were meetings there were agreements that things are looking like let's look at extending so that we won't end up having a crash program, and that's what the bank would also respect, right?
We definitely would respect an agreement between the IMF and the government of Ghana. This is the role that the World Bank plays, which is to support the agreements, the IMF program in particular, and we will continue to do so as and when the program is revised and agreed.
Do you think that it might come with any problems for the economy? There are some who also think that there might be some sharp revisions again, and it will come with its own shocks to the economy.
And away from that, more investors are showing interest in partnering government with this one district, one factory policy. That's according to Senior Minister Yao Safo-Mafo. This came to light during the recent non-deal roadshow led by the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, which took the team to London, New York, and Boston in the U.S. The Senior Minister, tells Joy Business most of them want to focus on agric. Bring you details of this particular interview shortly on the marketplace. But for now, that's it for business. My name is Emmanuel Apwaji. Have a good afternoon.